thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for being here. It's always good to run into somebody that's name's harder to say than mine and mispronounced more. You got a hard job in front of you, but I share the ideas and desire that the President has to root out waste and the fraud that we have in this country. Because if we don't, we're not going to have a country left. It's going to be gone. And he's doing the right thing. You're going to have a tough job. You're going to have to put your team together and do the same thing. We have got to make sure we use American taxpayers' money the right way. So kind of give me your plan of how you're going to do this to when you come into office and are confirmed, how are you going to put your team together?
Senator, first I should say I have a background as an economist, in addition to being a doctor. Senator, I should say I have a background as an economist as well as being a doctor. And to me, that background, what it leads me to do is understand that every dollar wasted on a frivolous study is a dollar not spent. Every dollar wasted on administrative costs that are not needed is a dollar not spent on research. The team I'm going to put together is going to be hyper-focused to make sure that the portfolio of grants that the NIH funds is devoted to the chronic disease problems of this country. It's going to be devoted to making sure we have not just incremental progress, but research projects that have the capacity to make huge advances in treatment for cancer, for diabetes, for obesity. That's how I'm going to decide what the team is. And the NIH is actually, I'm blessed in some ways because it already has so many excellent scientists there to advise me on the areas I don't know about. And I want to tap that resource. I want to make sure I talk to every single person who's already a leader at the NIH to understand where those opportunities are.
Yeah, well, thank you. You know, for the past 4 years, I've been on this committee, and we've obviously gone through COVID, devastating to not just our country, but the world. Transparency and trust is going to have to be earned again from a lot of people. Most people across this country don't know what the hell NIH stands for, okay? But now they do because of COVID. You said that science has to be reliable. Exactly. But people also have to trust. You know, we're finding out now we have biolabs in Ukraine where a war's going on, and we're funding them. I mean, and so you've got to be on top of that, and you've got to, the American people have to trust you that you will say, listen, we're going to keep an eye on, you know, the biolabs in North Carolina or wherever we have them, because it scares me to death of what's going on. What's your plan there of getting trust back in this country?
Senator, first of all, I want to make sure that, and I want to work with the Congress to make sure that there's appropriate regulation of any risky research. The NIH to have, I don't think should be doing any research that has the potential to cause a pandemic, and I want to work with Congress to make sure that happens. As far as trust, I think the key thing is we have to be utterly open. If I'm confirmed, I'll be the head of an organization that's a scientific organization. As a citizen, I would often look for FOIA responses from the NIH, Freedom of Information Act requests, and they'd be fully redacted during the pandemic. You can't have trust unless you are transparent. And if I'm confirmed as NIH director, I fully commit to making sure that the American people can see all of the activities of the NIH openly with limited sort of obfuscation, which is characterized, I think, unfortunately, the NIH's way that they interacted with the American people.
And I think that starts with being very visual on television, telling people, you know, the truth. Don't hide anything, because we've been hiding things for years, and that doesn't work. We found that out. You know, Chairman Cassidy and I led a letter to the NIH under the last administration asking questions about a grant that the NIH funded focused on children transitioning genders. The study followed all these children. 2 of them committed suicide. Devastating. So how can we ensure the NIH doesn't grant funds to things like this?
Well, first of all, I think it's if you have a negative result and it's politically inconvenient to you, you have an obligation as a scientist to report it, right? So the NIH funds a study that shows that the gender transition doesn't reduce suicide rate among adolescents. That researcher has an obligation to report it, even though she or may think it's politically inconvenient. So I want to make sure that NIH researchers are required to report even negative results. There's ways to do that we can talk about. But I think as far as like the prioritization of studies, as I was telling Senator Paul, I think we want to make sure that the studies are focused on the diseases that really are hurting Americans. Obesity, a lot of the research that it's so easy to come up with examples of. There's one of a shrimp on a treadmill, for instance, that was once funded. I don't. It's not that I'm necessarily against research like that, but the American taxpayer should be focused on the needs of American taxpayers. And the research should be focused on those needs, the health needs of Americans. And I want to make sure that the NIH, if confirmed, focuses on exactly that.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.